Task number 3 is about the intruder and positions of the intruder. So when we are looking to perform an attack with intruder, the first thing we need to do is look at positions. So I've already started my Burp suite here, and to actually get a feel of the intruder, you have to send something to the intruder. Now, positions tell intruder where to insert payloads, which we'll look at in upcoming tasks. Let's switch over to the position subtab. So we'll actually be looking at what they say here. So when you actually send something to intruder, let me see if I can send something to the intruder. Let's say I sent this GET request to the intruder, so send to intruder, and then we have what they have here. So notice that Burp will attempt to determine the most likely places where we wish to insert a payload automatically. In this case, Burp doesn't try, because I wouldn't say this is like an intruder-like, or yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, intruder-like request. So in their situation, the intruder actually, this is a post request, attack type is the sniper, and they actually try to insert payloads. So into the positions here in the username, this is where it will fill with the payloads, and the password exploited, another place where it will fill with the payload. So again, these are highlighted in green and surrounded by silk rows, as you can see here. And for example, if I want to actually add an intruder here, say that I want to actually brute force for files, I would just add that, and then I would actually, maybe we'll get the payloads in a moment. On the right side of the interface, we have the buttons add, clear, auto. So if I do, for example, here clear, it's going to clear it, and auto, it's actually going to try to fill with what it thinks is the best place to actually position the payloads. But in this case, it doesn't actually consider anything worthwhile. So let's again do this, add over there. Now add lets us define new positions by highlighting them in the editor and clicking the button. Clear, mind my phone here, so clear removes, I just silenced it. Clear removes all defined positions, leaving us with a blank canvas to define our own. Auto attempts to actually select the most likely positions, which is exactly what I said. Here is a GIF demonstrating the process of adding, clearing, and automatically reselecting positions. So they clear, it's cleared, it adds, then it should actually add, so it adds 2 of them, and it should be clear, and that automatically adds positions. So have a play around with the position selector. Make sure that you are comfortable with the process of adding, clearing, and automatically selecting positions. Alright, clear all selected positions. Okay, I think we did that. Now select the value of the host header and add it as a position. So for example, I think maybe we should try to actually start the machine, I don't know, let's see, and actually connect to their VPN. Let's not to the Cynic one, but to the TryHackMe. So okay, so it's connected. It's gonna show the IP in 40 or so seconds. We were at the positions. Okay, select the value of the host header and add it as a position. We could actually do that without using their attack box. So I could just do this and add it as a position. What else? Clear the position, then click the auto button again to select the default position, which is what we did. Auto doesn't select anything in that case. Now let's try and actually complete another task, since we are good on time, I believe. So let's see. Yeah, we're only 4 minutes in, so I'm gonna try to keep it shorter than 15 minutes. Let's switch to the positions sub and look in the attack types drop down menu. Payloads, no, positions, attack type, of course. So we have the sniper, the battering ram, the pitchfork, and the cluster bomb. We will look at each of these in turn. Read the attack types introduction. So for example, a sniper actually uses a single set of payloads and one or more payload positions. It places each payload into the first position, then each payload into the second position, and so on. So for reference, in my pen tests, I mostly use the sniper one. So for example, if I'm actually trying to determine usually when it comes to brute forcing, let's say we have a post request here, so instead of get you have post request, and then you have, for example, username, something like that, or maybe even in a JSON file. So username equals admin and password equals admin. Let's try and actually see if we do the auto now. So it actually selects them. So I'm gonna clear the admin, and then I would actually let the password position here admin remain. Then I'm usually gonna use a sniper, and I'm gonna play a little bit with the resources pool, and not with the options, but the resources pool, and then with the payloads. So that's sniper. Battering ram uses a single set of payloads like sniper, but it iterates through the payloads and places the same payload into all of the defined payload positions at once. So for example, if I would have here admin selected as a position, it would actually place the same payload. For example, if my list is composed of passwords, for example, password username combinations, if the first word in the password list would be admin, it's gonna try to put admin in both username and password positions. If the second one is John, it's gonna try to use John and John at the same time. So in this case, places the same payload in all of the defined payload positions at once. Pitchfork uses multiple payload sets. This is a different payload set for each defined position up to a maximum of 20. The attack iterates through all payload sets simultaneously, so it uses the first payload from each set, then the second payload from each set, and so on. Finally, the cluster bomb uses also multiple payload set, but this is a different set for each defined position up to a maximum. So exactly as the pitchfork, the attack iterates through each payload set in turn so that all permutations of payload combinations are tested. So this is a little bit more complex. Now, we've actually done that. So we read their intros. So sniper. Sniper is the first and most common type. As we said, we provide one set of payloads. For example, this could be a single file containing a word list, range of numbers. So in this case, what I want to say is that you can play with the attack type, but then when it comes to payloads, you can also get very complex very quickly, because you can have multiple. So payload set 1, payload type simple list, or you can have a different payload types. Character substitution, custom iterator, case modification. Maybe we'll get into this at a later point. You can also do a little bit of processing and also encoding. Moreover, you can do some payload options. So for example, you can read more about it here. But the payload type lets you configure a simple list of strings that are used as payloads. Alright, so getting back. For example, this could be a single file contained. From here on out, we will refer to a list of items to be slotted into requests using the Burp Suite terminology payload set. Intruder will take each payload in a payload set and put it into each defined position in turn. So for example, we have what we have here is a example of a request where these are where the positions, so in the username and the password, this is where the positions are, targeting the username and the password body parameters because this is a post request. in a sniper attack, Intruder will take each position and substitute each payload into it. So for example, let's assume we have a word list with 3 words: Burp, Sweet, and Intruder. So this is actually where it does a very good breakdown of what happens. With the two positions that we have above, Intruder would use these words to make 6 requests, because in this case we're actually combining 2 payload positions. So this is math, combinations of two of I'm not really sure, so they are combinations, or permutations. What are them? So someone who's smarter or better than me at math should comment in the comment section. But still, request number 1, we have the username Burp and the password exploited. What's up with the password exploited? We have a word list with 3 words. Yeah, the password is exploited. Okay, so the username is pentester. So in the first scenario, you have the burp and the password is exploited. In the second one, in the second request, you have the sweet and exploited. In the third one, you have the intruder and exploited. In the fourth one, you start with username pentester, and then you have the password burp. In the fifth, pentester with sweet, and in the sixth, pentester with intruder. So that's all there is to it. Notice how Intruder starts with the first position username and tries each of our payloads, then moves to the second position and tries the same payloads again. Now we can calculate the number of requests, so number of words times the number of positions. In this case we have 2 words, so there is no combination. I've kind of answered my question there. So you just actually multiply the number of positions, which is 2, with the number of words in your word list, which is 3. So number of words with times the number of positions. This quality makes the sniper very good for single position attacks. So for example, password brute force. Now I use it in brute forcing to actually test for rate limiting, not necessarily to actually brute force, because I don't know, I kind of find quite obsolete testing for actually brute forcing passwords. But still, out of the many pen tests that I've done in 2022, I kind of have to admit that there have been a very large chunk of them with no actual strong password policy. So they would simply, or a very bare minimum password policy, where their password policy would allow, or would imply, or would require, better said, that the password should at least be 8 characters long. So that's it. That's a password policy in 2022. So in this case, if the password would be pentester, it's gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and that actually leaves room for very good brute forcing. Given that you know the username and that there is no rate limiting on the logins, it is a good case for brute forcing, and that's actually a thing that you need to put in the... That's quite a big security issue when it comes to a lot of the applications that I've tested, because it actually leaves the room for compromising user accounts. And you have to actually be very, I would say, draw the attention on that fact in your pen testing report. If you were using Sniper to fuzz 3 parameters in a request with a word list containing 100 words, so you have 3 parameters, 100 words, how many requests would Burp Suite need to send to complete the attack? So again, math, 3 times 100 should be 300, I guess. How many sets of payloads will a sniper accept for conducting an attack? I believe 1. Sniper is good for attacks where we are only attacking a single parameter. A or nay? I would say nay. we can attack multiple parameters, but I would say I was wrong. This quality makes Sniper very good for single position attacks. Alright. Okay, so task number 5 is done, and the time here is 15 minutes, which is why we're gonna leave task number 6 for the next video.